A couple of weeks ago, I did a show. It was on October 13th, and I want you to go to gbtv.com and download that show and just watch it today. If you haven't seen it, it is the GBTV 5 p.m. show, October 13th. You'll see it in the archives. Also, the show that we did, when was it, on Monday? That is now available. It is absolutely free. I think you can go to the Facebook page. Do you know, Stu? At GBTV.
Get that answer for you.
Okay. But I want you to watch these shows. The one on Monday was what are the roots of Occupy Wall Street? But the one I did on October 13th is what do you do to prepare? It took me almost 2 hours to lay this out. But I'm going to go over it quickly with you here. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll just go through this quickly. But real discussion on this happened on October 13th on gbtv.com, and I urge you to watch it. I urge you to take this list and put this list. You'll find it at glennbeck.com. And I ask you, I beg you, sit down with your family, sit down with your spouse, and make this into a checklist. Do these things, please.
It is up on your Facebook page as well as glennbeck.com.
Okay. We'll get back to it here in just a second. Zabman.
First, Glenn says it.
Civil unrest could happen. It will happen. Already is happening around the world.
No matter what anybody says, Stephen Lerner, I know you mean it.
Then others criticize it.
Stephen Lerner's mortgage strike idea is not going to happen, even with the attention that Glenn Beck and I have now brought to it.
Then they all start saying it themselves.
Hundreds of protesters have flooded into lower Manhattan around Wall Street.
That's the bank that took my dad's home.
Calling for a day of rage against America's financial institution.
We've got some stuff in Boston, in New York, that's going to really be spectacular. It's all starting to happen.
You can wait for the media or start your search for the truth at its home address, gbtv.com. The truth lives here.
On October 13th on gbtv.com, a show you can look up, and I urge you to watch with your family, I said that you need to do these things. These are answers that I have been praying for a long time. I sat down to write something entirely different, and this spilled out. So take it for what it's worth. This was not something I prepared for. This just came out of the end of my fingers. Buy farmland. Grow your own food. Live near people and begin to make alliances of skills. In other words, be able to barter. I can't fix a car, but I can teach your kids, whatever. If you can't buy farmland, live near farmland. Electronics free is what I wrote, but I don't mean to be completely electronics free. I mean to be free of electronics as much as you can. Paper copies of important documents. Know where your deeds are. Take them in a moment of emergency. Make sure you have paper copies of everything. College, school. Apprenticeships are the future. Discuss the value of school for what you can earn. Do not look for labels, as they are going to become meaningless. I wrote Yale next to this. Find other forms of school online. Teach young children now that college is not a given. Demand merit from school and students, or pull your time and your money. Educate yourself at all times. Always be reading a book. Have hard copies of important books and documents. I read almost everything now on electronics. I hate it, but I read. I mean, you should see my desk. My desk is stacked with books and so much to read. I just can't carry them all around, so I read almost everything on electronics. don't avoid electronics, but anything that is important, make sure you have a hard copy of it. Learn old or lost practices, mending, canning, farming. Learn how to fix an engine. Relearn how to read a map. Have a map. Know the news, as life can change quickly. Be able to defend your position by knowing the other side's position. Under the heading of traditions, preserve what is important, shed all others, conserve and preserve, reclaim and restore. Specifically, I thought about Thanksgiving and Christmas when I wrote that. Money, gold, food, cigarettes, liquor, sugar, ammunition, guns, seeds. Skills, barter. Skills is gold. Skills is currency. Knowledge is a currency. Have 30 days cash on hand. I've said this one, and I have to tell you, it is really, really difficult. Really difficult. Because people are saying, well, that's crazy. Would you please go to the bank, and if you have it, make sure you can have 30 days cash on hand. Keep it someplace safe. But this is in case, Pat lived through Katrina, or it wasn't Katrina, it was...
yeah, there was that too, but it was Rita.
Yeah. When the ATMs stop, if, God forbid, there's a collapse of the bank, look at what's happening in Europe. It could happen overnight, and they have to restructure, and there's no money in the ATMs. Have 30 days cash on hand. Don't take all of your money out of the bank, but 30 days cash. This one I wrote, and I could not believe it, because I just rented a house, because I didn't think this is the right thing to do. This came out of my fingertips, and I went, oh, crap. Buy a house. Okay. Stop all excess spending. Buy quality only. Forget fashion only. Measure twice, cut once. Do not waste. Consider a fuel-efficient SUV or truck. Consider something prior to 1979 that you can fix yourself. Location. Live near like-minded people. What this means to me is find the things that are... find the people that... where the tipping point is in your favor. Not everybody's going to agree with you, but get the tipping point in your favor. Texas, mountains, or where God still plays a role in real life. If you cannot move, because no place will be untouched, you're not moving to safety. There is no place that will go untouched. If you cannot move, create a network of people. Business and work. Be the best you can be. Be the one employee that no one can fire. Be the jack of all trades. Small business. Be the product or service that no one can cancel. Conserve and preserve. Learn from the Depression. Advertise when no one else is. Chevrolet stayed in business. Because of it, they actually became number one. Because they were the only ones that advertised during the Depression. To stay in business, you must downsize and preserve. This is important because as much as you want to say we're all going to stay together, there are stories that I have learned. A very famous architect or developer here in New York in the 1930s, he was the Donald Trump. And the Depression hit. And many of the very famous buildings here in Manhattan were built by him in the 1920s and right before the Depression. And he was Donald Trump. He held everybody and said, this is going to turn around and we're going to stay together. And he bankrupted himself, and everybody lost their job. You can't hold everybody together. You have to do your best to do it, but understand you have to shed as you go along, or you're going to put everyone out of work. Put your money where your heart is. Do business in symbiotic ways. We need each other. Work with people who will help you, and you can help them. Do not try to put others out of business. Let them do it. Adopt the Macy's and Gimbel's theories from Miracle on 34th Street. Never be the smartest man in the room. Take care of your employees the best you can. Take less, give more. Read Franklin and Washington. When it comes to life, do not plan your life and then move. Plan, then listen and obey. Practice at least Franklin's American religion. Serve. Honor all of your obligations. That's going to be a tough one. Preserve food, time, money, and energy. Teach your children the basics. Teach your children values and principles. Do with less now, for it will be less of a shock when it comes later. That one came to me, and it was specifically about our children. Do with less now. Teach them that, well, we don't have all that. Even if you can afford it, we don't have all that. No, we can't. Tanya is, and I know this is such an elitist thing to say, but I want to give you an example of things that we are doing in our own life. Tanya, whenever, because we fly back and forth from Dallas, flying coach. Now, we can afford first class. Coach. The family is flying coach because we can doesn't mean we do. We're trying to cut, and I know it means very little, but I'm trying to use this as an example. If you have some frivolous thing that you do that is really nice, don't deprive yourself of things. You do need treats. You do need things that you're like, you know what, I like that, and I want to keep that. But do it strategically, and help your children understand now that we don't do that. We don't have that. It'll be less of a shock. Join a 912 group. Link online, but get the phone number and physical location of your friends. Have a meeting place established for your family. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. Have a gun. Know how to shoot it. Resolve those issues that are holding you back. This goes to the snow angel. Stop all behavior that does not expand you or others into good. That one you could meditate on and change your life just on that one. Stop all behavior that does not expand you or others into good. Make amends for what you have done. Find peace and then get to work. Teach your children work ethic. They're going to need it. Tolerate nothing that you feel is wrong by remaining silent. And what I mean by that is you don't have to kick up the dust. What you do have to do is stand up and leave. Let your children see you stand. Be honorable in all of your dealings in life. Understand that anger is a part of life, but never feed it. The first look is not a problem. It's the second look. Never be the best man or woman in the room. Be happy, optimistic. Life will go on. Make plans for the future. Get married, have children, sing songs. This, I urge you to make this into a checklist and do these things. Understand them. You can watch the episode on gbtv.com. It is from October 13th, a week ago, last Thursday. And you can get this particular piece written on glennbeck.com right now. Please do these things immediately with your family.
Glenn Beck. Mercury.